Well, I've been lucky enough to sit down with people who are making a difference in the accessibility space. And today I'm excited to be joined by someone who's helping develop inclusive solutions that are helping create a more accessible world. Ariel Caner earned a BSc and MSc in biomedical engineering from the University of Kent in England, where his specialization was in programmable hearing aid development. He has
Indeed.
since accumulated 3 decades of experience in global product management and business development at multiple international organizations. He is currently the business development manager at Bettear, an assistive listening solution provider on a mission to revolutionize the way people with hearing loss experience public spaces. Ariel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on this session.
Ariel, every one of these starts with a bit of a curveball, something just kind of playful and offbeat to hopefully spark a smile and get the conversation going. Are you game for that?
I was ready for that since yesterday.
You've come prepared. Ariel, would you rather snap, spin, and point like you're in a music video when someone says Bluetooth, or throw finger guns with sound effects?
I would go for option two because it looks so much cooler than option one.
Objectively, it's objectively cooler than
Indeed,
option one.
indeed.
So Ariel, I'm so excited to get a perspective of someone who has actually been in the space of developing inclusive and accessible solutions. What drew you to work on accessibility or inclusive design in the first place?
Yeah, as you mentioned at the beginning, so I have the background in developing hearing aids. And at the time when I was developing them, I was thinking about the personal use. So sort of I was solving the issue of having better hearing aids for the personal use. But then the question is, okay, this part of the equation is solved, but how do we get this better in public spaces, public venues? So when I had a chance to join Bettear with my relevant background, I was so happy to join the company. And ever since, we are developing so many unique and innovative solutions to make sure that the hard of hearing get a better chance to hear better and to be part of the moment.
How do accessible solutions change not just what someone can do, but how they feel?
I think the key word for that is inclusion and being included in the group or the community of people that are doing something together. And it's mostly fun because when people are leaving their personal space and they're trying to join a fun activity, being a cultural music, attending a sports event and so on, if they do not have the accessibility measures or the assistive listening solutions in place, then they cannot really join and they cannot be included. So inclusivity is really important to be achieved. And luckily, technology nowadays is there. Solutions are mature, and it's just a matter of pushing forward the owners and the manager of the venues to install as many solutions as possible.
Well, you jumped ahead to some of the technological advancements that are helping in this area,
Right.
and so we can go there now too. What are some of the most exciting or meaningful breakthroughs that you've seen in accessibility tech recently?
Okay. Well, you're asking me about accessibility, and to be fair, I should mention the hard of vision and so on. So not only assistive listening, although I'm mainly dealing with assistive listening. So I think the advancement in Bluetooth, like for example, Bluetooth LE, is really assisting the technology to offer much better solutions for everybody with physical disabilities. But going back to assistive listening, I think the fact that Bluetooth LE is enabling sort of a uniform method of the connectivity is really assisting. The fact that the vast majority of hearing aids sold today have Bluetooth built in, and this is helping the users to anyway make the daily personal communication activities like making phone calls and listening to YouTube and Spotify. This is a major breakthrough. And I'm not speaking about the public spaces and so I'm speaking about the personal ecosystem. And I think that with that, and I know that I'm jumping ahead, but with Auracast broadcast, this is definitely the next major revolution in the case of offering advanced, innovative, inclusive, complete measures to make sure that people with hearing loss can enjoy their personal activities and with the same devices go and enjoy the public spaces.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on how significant that is when the the technology that is being used for hearing assistance specifically is also being used just generally and is ubiquitous in so many devices and broad consumer audio solutions. What benefit does that bring to not only people with hearing loss, but people, of all levels of hearing health?
Okay, this is a very good question. I'm not sure if you know, but unfortunately, one of six of the people that need hearing aids is using them. So people have this, they're afraid of the stigma and they're ashamed of being wearing external hearing aids. And some people with very short haircut like mine, doesn't look well on the face and so on. And I think that with the latest streaming-based assistive listening solution for public venues, namely the solution based on Wi-Fi streaming and now Auracast broadcast, is enabling the people that are not using prescribed hearing aids or cochlear implants to still join the high quality audio streaming by just buying ordinary earbuds and headphones. So they can go and join and attend public venues where music is streamed directly into the ears using ordinary devices that are supporting Bluetooth LE and ordinary Bluetooth. So this is really amazing. So this is actually broadening the target market, if I can use this term. So instead of offering dedicated, which are, by the way, excellent solution based on, for example, induction loops with Bluetooth LE and Auracast broadcast. So many more people can join and make sure that they get the best sound quality, lowest latency with solutions that are covering the whole venues. So it's a win-win and another win.
Can you talk a little bit more about the significance of something like low latency and what are the other characteristics of a effective and friendly assistive listening solution that can truly bring people into the moment?
Okay, I think especially in the US, there is this threshold of 40 milliseconds that is well drafted in the ADA regulations. And I think one of the biggest merits of Auracast is the fact that end-to-end, so analog in, Auracast in the air, and analog out, we definitely see a latency of end-to-end of about 30 to 35 milliseconds. So it's well beyond the 40 millisecond threshold. This is giving the feeling of almost real time. And this is especially important when people are attending public venues or public activities, when someone is talking. So the lip sync issue is actually mitigated.
It's one thing to be developing and designing solutions and in the middle of that process. And it's a whole nother to have that experience of seeing those solutions in action and coming and being brought to life
Right.
and seeing the results, both in how they perform and the experience they help create. Can you share a little bit about what that experience is like when you finally get to see the solutions that you've worked so hard to bring to life, used, and the experience that it brings for people?
I'm super excited to see the R&D working and developing the solutions, but I'm more excited to get the feedback from the end users. And locally, we have a community of about 4,500 users that are using our systems. And on a weekly basis, at least one if not more, of the people that are attending the local venues, being it theaters, cinemas, jazz clubs, and so on, is writing in the community. And usually the message starts with, wow, I could never even dreamed to enjoy the content of the activity I was attending due to your solution. So, technically, we know that we are doing we are developing great products and solutions. But then at the end of the day, we are sort of biased. And the most important for us is to get the feedback from the end users, not from the owners of the venues, because in some cases, the owners of the venues will install our solution. And I'll be frank with you, they install it just because there is a law and they have to install something just to get the check mark of the approval. But when an end user is happy enough to share her feedback, this is the biggest achievement for us.
I'm wondering if you can kind of compare the options for the different kinds of user experience that Auracast helps make available compared to some of the existing and traditional, assistive listening technologies. Where do you see some of the advancements there in the user experience, which is obviously so critical to these solutions?
I think I should start with the fact that Auracast broadcast is enabling the streaming of high quality audio directly into the ears of the users, right? So users do not have to bring any external device, which in some cases is causing them to look different. We spoke earlier about the fact that they should feel included and be part of whatever. So if someone comes in with hearing aids or earbuds and they get the stream directly into the ears, this is really amazing. Secondly, with the fact that an Auracast streamer, a professional Auracast streamer, can really cover the whole venue. This means that people with hearing loss can sit wherever. If you compare it to the infrared-based solutions where people have to be seated in front of the infrared transmitter, this is no longer the case. So it doesn't matter where they're seated, under the speaker, behind the speaker, doesn't matter if there is echo in the room, they don't care. And by the way, this is also true for people with normal hearing that can really enjoy the streaming of high quality audio directly into the ears. So this is really definitely improving the experience. And anyway, most of the people on planet Earth are using smartphones. Most of the people are used to connect to Wi-Fi networks, and the way to connect to the Auracast streams is very similar. The seamless connectivity means that will be introduced the next few months and maybe next year are going to make life so much more easier. The same way you are tapping your phone to pay with your Google Pay, or you'll be used the same method to connect to an Auracast stream.
And that same method can be used by someone with just a pair of earbuds or someone with a cochlear implant. There's no isolation or difference in that experience.
I think industry is moving forward. And by the way, I should also mention the fact that Google released Android 16 recently, a few weeks ago, and having a major operating system manufacturer vendor introducing Auracast, although they don't call it, they call it audio sharing, but still it's Auracast, introducing it in the smartphones. And we can see that other smartphones manufacturers are using this Android 16. Future is very pink, promising. We'll get there.
Yes, it's moving quickly. In fact, there have been more and more locations, thanks to companies like yours who are building these public transmitters, who are actually installing Auracast solutions, Auracast transmitters in their locations. There are permanent installations out there, which is exciting to see. There have been field tests and demonstrations. I'm curious, it's one thing to kind of talk about this, conceptually, but what has your firsthand experience with Auracast been like? Has it delivered on some of these promises and benefits?
I only have good things to say about Auracast. As a company, we invested in this new technology about a year and a half ago, and it's definitely delivering. We installed our Auracast streamers in cultural venues like theaters and cinemas. We install it in educational institutes like colleges and universities. We also took Auracast into different vertical markets. So, we started and we think that cultural venues will be the prime location or prime targets for products like ours. But we also introduced this year a tour guiding system or solution based on Auracast. So this is taking us into new venues like museum and visitor centers. We also design an Auracast-based solution for legal venues or any venue where audio sensitivity is important. And if you do not want your audio to leak out, Auracast has this capability of being encrypted. So Auracast is very promising, and we are very happy to be able to demonstrate the fact that, yes, assistive listening was the beginning, but we are expanding sideways, and the more the better. And I'm sure that it's going to be like a chain reaction or a snowball. The more the better. So stay tuned.
Yes, the more the better for sure. What advice would you give to teams that want to design for everyone and design inclusively, but might not know necessarily where to start?
If I compare the efforts associated with installing other technologies, other assistive listening solutions based on other technologies like induction loop and FM, at the end of the day, it's so much easier and so much time effective to install a streaming solution. Because all you have to do, you have to come to a venue, install the streamer, connect to the audio system, and that's it. It's up and running. So the cost associated with upgrading a venue to being an assistive listening venue, so a venue which offers assistive listening services, it's really easy. So I think that I would advise to the owners and managers of such venues to try borrow a device, install it in your venue, run it for a couple of weeks, and see what is the reaction from the audience. And you know what? From my experience, owners of venues or institutes are selling more tickets for the hard of hearing because we're looking at about 5% of the population. And by the way, this figure is very general because we look at people above 65 years old, a third of them have a hearing loss, and above 75 years old, half of them. So at the end of the day, people that are retired have more time and usually more money, and they can consume more culture. So thinking about the financial part, install more, and you'll be paid off. And the ROI is going to be very, very, very short.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear the range of different venues that can take advantage of this technology and how.
Okay, we have already in our pipeline a number of sports arenas where we will be installing our Auracast streamers, which can cover, cover a really large area. And by doing so, we'll be offering assistive listening services. But in some parts of the world, owners of such venues wish to use Auracast as part of the added value services. For example, paid commentary service. You come into a baseball, you want to hear explanation of what is happening on the field. That's okay. Borrow one of the Auracast receiver and get this extra value, audio, and so on and so on. So again, Auracast streaming at high quality, low latency, very large area can be used in other vertical markets. And I mentioned the sports arenas. I can mention public transportation, definitely for buses and tourist buses and trains and subways and so on. By the way, personally, I tested the Auracast on an airplane. So when was the last time you traveled on an airplane, you could understand the PA announcements?
Right.
Right, very challenging. So I proved that by using Auracast, sound is so crisp and can cover the whole plane. So please, airlines, think about Auracast as a next generation PA and entertainment method.
Yeah, the possibilities are really endless. It's and it really only constrained by creativity. You mentioned a scenario in a stadium where a fan could borrow an Auracast receiver, but do you envision a future where instead of having to borrow an Auracast receiver, a fan with their own headphones or earbuds could simply look on their phone for the surrounding Auracast broadcasts and just go ahead and listen and using their own devices, that whole bring your own device experience.
For sure. And I envisage 2026 to be the year of the Auracast. Funny enough, there is a song "Year of the Cat," so "Year of the Auracast," and you know, people with ordinary earbuds used for the jogging or for the podcast listening and so on will enter the sports arenas, and they could consume added value services. Yeah, for sure.
In the same way that we've come so accustomed to walking into public locations and looking for Wi-Fi in the area.
Same, exactly the same.
Yeah.
And by the way, Auracast is so much better, I think, because of the fact that you can encrypt the audio and you can control who is listening.
Mhm.
So pay first and listen then after.
It's amazing to see Bluetooth SIG member companies like Bettear bringing these inclusive solutions to life, and to see how they're helping people experience the world with, you know, more confidence, more independence, more of a sense of belonging. So thank you and everyone at Bettear for all you're doing to help, you know, more people experience Orcast in all the places that they go. And thanks for spending this time with me.
Yeah, we are honored to be part of the Bluetooth SIG and we are honored to offer our innovative solution. And it will be a matter of educating the market that we can do more. And yeah, one of these days, hopefully in the near future, more people will realize that Auracast is the future, and it is a future proof. And this message should be spread around consumers and users, and also venue managers and owners, because with Auracast they can do more.
Yeah, and we are all looking forward to that future. Like you said, it's the 2026 is the year of Orcast, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can quote me on that.